Okay. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. We are underground, actually, even though it doesn't look it. We're underneath Sharlayan, a little place called Labyrinthos. Trying to figure out what the government of Sharlayan is up to. They've got secrets. They're building a spaceship. But anyways, so I really am slow going on this story. Main story. For reference, at this point, as of the time of recording, the expansion has been out. I mean, at least, early access and all that, for gosh, 6 days? Almost a week now. And we are not very far. A lot of people have passed us. Now, part of that is just due to the fact that it's been a bitch to log in during the day, every day. And really only log in reliably at like 1 a.m. or so, midnight. It's getting a little better, though. But the other reason has been that I've been just leveling other jobs. It's very strange that I would wait till now to start leveling some other jobs, but I started leveling Sage because I wanted to try out Sage, and then I got my Gunbreaker up to 80 because I was like, oh, maybe we should try a tank instead. And now I got my Warrior up to 80, and that took a little while because he was 74. And I think I would say Warrior's like my favorite tank of the four. I just kind of like how it plays, and I know I said a lot about how they all play similarly. And they do to an extent, but I don't know, Warrior just feels good. And I think Warrior, the weapons look a lot cooler than Gunbreaker. Especially with a Lalafell. The Lalafell Gunbreaker weapon is just like this little dagger. You can't see shit. Whereas, like, even zoomed out, you can see this big-ass axe on my back. I mean, come on. That's just fucking cool. That's fucking cool. So, yeah, it's pretty good. So we're almost 81 here. We should be good to use Warrior with the first dungeon, I think. We'll see. Yeah, so let's... As a heads up, I am using a plugin. So I use the Final Fantasy XIV Quick Launcher, which allows you to use a bunch of plugins with the game. Here's like the list of plugins. Nothing is like illegal, I don't think. I mean, nothing will just get you banned for using it. Some of it's just like handy or something like that, like let's see. Receive your chat messages via Discord. Some Discord integration. Some easy mini cactbot, which is funny because it's like mini cactbot's not difficult to just whatever. Yeah, I don't know, there should be a mod. I don't know if it still exists, but there was a mod that would hide every other player in the game. I don't know if it still exists or not. But I was like, that would probably be pretty useful most of the time during my recordings for the other channel. Because a lot of times I'd be annoyed with other people like standing in front of a quest giver it really breaks immersion. So, anyways. The one that I'm using is called the 14 Combo plugin. So, if you do PvP in this game, what it does is it, like, gives you a new set of abilities, and it condenses these combos down to, like, one button. When we do certain PvE quests, where we play as, like, another character, it also does that. Where you just you can spam one button. So that does this, but just for your normal character. It's not so obscene as like the early WoW days where you could get you could get mods that would just automate your entire character with one button. It just automates the combos. So like for Warrior, the AoE combo is 2 different skills. And all, you know, it's just you push the first one and then you do the second one for more damage. That's basically like every tank. This just puts it on one button. And so I can't show you, and we're not in combat, but... So that's one. Then, like, your main attack combo, you push one button, then you do a second one to do a bit more damage, and then you do a third one to do a lot of damage. Or give you a buff. So, that's what I've got going on here. With these two. So they actually have the same first 2 steps. It's just the third step's the different. It's not cheating or anything like that. It's not, it doesn't let you do anything that's not normally possible. It just cleans up my bars, to be honest. Because I'm not the kind of player that really, like, goes wild with key bindings, and I never want to use mouse buttons as a key binding, so yeah, I'm okay with having less buttons. And having more just, like, more time and, you know, more focus on pushing the other buttons. When to use cooldowns and things like that. So, the mindless button pushing is not necessary. So I figured I'd just explain that in case you're wondering why I have 2 heavy swings here. Alright, anyways, Alphino. Deeper into the maze. Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed into the main building and speak with the custodian. Simple as that. Greetings. We are here to peruse the Archeon's vaults. Peruse? You're clearly not gleaners, then. Might I ask your affiliation? We belong to the students of Baldessian, but is that relevant? I was given to believe that the vaults, those open to the public at least, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. Not us, then. I suppose we'd better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? Oh. That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What? So this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time, it'll be too late. We were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let us step outside for the moment, shall we? Students of Baldessian. We are at an impasse. As we have no other leads, I should like to pursue this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. It is likely that the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to ingratiate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. Okay. How about a bemused student? Am I taking the lift? Oh no, we're just students. They won't let us into the Archeon, even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere. But it was wandering around Tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Squeal, squeal. Oddest little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archeon is open again. Okay. What about the bone-weary worker? What's that? Take you down on the lift with me? Sorry, not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and only now have I finally found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading out the gate there, though, shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be headed down below after he's done with whatever it is he's doing. Let's hunt this bastard down. Ooh. See, the herds are thinning out now. That's how you know. We're far behind. Quiet. You'll frighten it away. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is close. Very close. You wish to help me with this, too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds, but the one I'm after today is the hornbill. Its feathers are green, and its cry a distinctive caw. Single it out and shoot it with the sleeping dart. The effects are short-lived, so I'll lie in wait down by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. State the target. The hornbill. Do I know what a hornbill is? Oh, probably this big hornbill? No, there's plenty of hornbills. Shit. Green bird, which caws. This is cuckooing. Is this motherfucker cawing? It's whacking. Cuckoo. You caw right now. No, neither of them are... The red one's cawing. Oh, this one. Gotcha. Easy peasy. I'm the fucking warrior of light, dude. Think I can't hit a bird? I've hit God. Yeah, so professional.
A fair shot. Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
there you are. Any new revelations? So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a gleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation.
It's a spaceship.
But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
Migrate to the moon.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance.
On the moon.
They're comparatively hardy species, too. Able to endure harsh climates.
Like the moon.
And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will, of course, follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down.
Oh, of course.
This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the Medial Circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome. But consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
I don't really see Kryl climbing down.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
I do love a good mine shaft. Yeah. Badass. This must be it, the entrance to the mine shaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed there by the researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. What did I get? New headgear. Better be good. Oh, I'm already motherfuck. That was a waste. Oh, I must have bought it off the auction house. Okay. It's curious, it's the same thing. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, then I say we head on in. Given the terrain ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow, and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. Oh, there's gonna be enemies. Big ass cave. So there are enemies just hanging around, but then there's specific enemies we have to fight because we lure them out. I don't know. I'll kick all their asses. So yeah, I'm sure since I've never played Warrior before, I can explain it. It's pretty much a lot of the usual stuff. Warriors have a shocking amount of, like, self-sustainability. They have a lot of... they have a self-heal, which is an instant cast. They have Shake It Off, which creates a barrier around you and all nearby party members. And it's a heal as well. They have Thrill of Battle, which increases your max HP by 20% and restores your current HP by 20%. And you receive 20% more healing for the next 10 seconds. Their special, like, big cooldown is Home Gang. Home Gang, Home Gang, Home Gang. Which just makes you unable to die for 10 seconds. And their special resource is the Beast Gauge. Which is really, I mean, I'm only level 80. But it's really just used for like two things. A big single target attack and a big AoE attack. Here's the big AoE attack. Kapow! And so you've got this Infuriate ability, which increases it by 50 out of 100. And then you have Inner Release, which causes your next 3 attacks to be crits. And lets you use Beast Gauge abilities without costing Beast Gauge. Does some other stuff. But yeah, it's pretty... You can pound on some good damage. I'll show you on this guy right here. There. Crit. 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 And then you do one of those. Boom. Big crit. And then you do an insta-cast. Kapow. Yeah, so I mean, it's just not bad. It's not bad. It's still a tank. It's got all the tanky, normal tank stuff. You're still doing the same role as any other tank. But it's down to just personal feel, I guess. Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And as promised, the tunnel has delivered us into the Medial Circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Erenville's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. Oh, so it's one of those things where it's like, once you're in, you're in. No one's gonna question it. Aha! Now I know where we are. This is Merial Agronomics. Labyrinthos is host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. More notable successes might make it to the Agora. Foods so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed. Mystery vegetables without a name, only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. 'Tis possible they know something of the Forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same, or cast about for useful clues. Well, guess we're talking to Jebke. Oh, hello there. We weren't expecting visitors. Now with use of the lift being restricted, how did you make it down here anyway? Mine shaft, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the Forum has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests. Literal wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation and was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. Yeah, I don't know why, just because he's working in the agricultural section, he'd be like a sort of a country hick. But screw you, it's my Let's Play. Do I have aught to be taken down below? More than I can carry and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift, but some has been earmarked for aerial transport. Hence the stack of crates atop that hill over there. God, hauling the lot up that slope was a job and a half. Why can't I charge this person? What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one is a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising, given that it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled, a region in the south of Ilsabard. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for myriad flora and fauna to thrive. Chilly peaks in the north give way to swaths of temperate plains, which in turn transition into a hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territories ever contested, as you might expect, used to be called Corvos, before the Imperials renamed it Locus Amonis. The Forum saw it not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments and cultivation. Alright, let's get a look at them boxes. Let's look at them boxes. God damn, that's a big fucking bee. Holy shit. Again, can you just imagine if that existed? I think they would be the dominant life form on this planet. How could they not be? That is a wasp with dual stingers, the size of a human. I gotta kill it just because it exists and I don't like it. Just go all out. Just everything you got. Everything you got, god damn it. Destroy it. Nah. It spits acid or poison as well. Yeah, that would be the dominant life form on the planet. The labels on these crates tell the story of their contents, bundles of common seeds and saplings accompanied by sheaves of reports.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change color. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy. Dark, subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
It's kind of insane that that guy got a voice actor.
Have you learned aught of interest? A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we fail to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Arcane? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
You're so badass.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Crier?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Huh. What's her dealio? So I think what happened is they had this long cutscene here with a bunch of dialogue and all that. And they don't have cutscenes that are like partly voiced. It's either all or nothing. So I think they're like, all right, we want to have this part voiced, so I guess we'll have to give a voice to this random botanist. That's what I think happened. Is Cryo still feeling unwell? I've never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving, too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Okay. Forgive me, my attention has been elsewhere. We were following Erenville, weren't we? Pretty distracted. Full report, warts and all. Erenville was headed westwards along the path outside the Archeon. Come, we can still catch him. This guy's gonna get executed or something. It's gonna be all our fault. So, the Game Awards were tonight. For however much credence and respect you give to those. But Final Fantasy XIV won Best Community Support, I think, and Best Ongoing Game, beating out Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone, Genshin Impact. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you know, maybe more people will try out Final Fantasy, and the queues will get even longer. Hold a moment. I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrintho's climate control centers. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper or lower tiers. Aye, if I were an agent of the form, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Erenville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Oh, shit. Goodness! You can just casually turn the Warrior of Light into a toad? Unaccustomed to transfiguration. Worry not. It will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'd be as likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn of anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabout? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. You've changed into a toad. Okay. Speak with you, huh? Prolong. So it's gonna wear off. Half an hour. It's pretty long. I hope this quest doesn't take longer than that. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Alfie Toad and Allie Toad. Wonderful. Okay, we got a big section. Well, it's different. I'll give them that. It is not just pure visual novel stuff going on here. It's us three and the fat cat. It's lovely. Okay, that's a big-ass toad. Probably want to avoid that. Aha. Perhaps this glowing circle. Et voila.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
Bud Wise
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
Do you think a toad expert in real life would be able to tell if a creature was impersonating a toad? Or would it just think that it's a weird toad? But I guess it's like, you know, magic exists. He must know that, well, you know, surely people can impersonate toads. I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived. Yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps, we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle. This momentous duty the forum agent mentioned. Charlene has been called to action. The Telophorus declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. Spaceship. Hey, 81. Did I get anything at 80? I don't think I did. No. Wow. Before the expansion, I must have gotten something at 80, but now they removed it. We get Bloodwetting at 82. Okay. Anyways. A guide of sorts. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Kryl for the moment, see what they think of this. So I would say Final Fantasy XIV is one of the best ongoing games, certainly. But of course, the best ongoing game is Cataclysm. Duh. But I don't think that'll win an award anytime soon. Those rotten bastards. Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville then. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryl, then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. You know, I'm gonna bet I find her by those flowers. Big-ass wasps. That would be up here, I think. A stray tomato. That's not an enemy. Oh, look. She's next to those flowers.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
she?
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you.
Damn it, Heidelin.
Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment.
Oh, it's like that episode of Digimon where they take over Kyrie's body. That's a reference, right?
Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked. But at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Uh-oh. We're busting? We're trespassing. I don't know why we didn't stay as frogs.
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Woohoo.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
It is not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Grah! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
But I got a big axe. We could cleave our way through. Find that spaceship.
Is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
We could take that spaceship and fly the hell out of here.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Damn it, Cat. They're mentioning Galuf and you're stepping on the keyboard. Oh.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
So go fuck yourself, lady. Keep his name out your mouth.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age-long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Oh. Force choke.
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Badass.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Yeah.
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? Now, if we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldesion are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlian. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
When you gotta look around and count all that shit? You haven't thought of a better way to do this? With all your wisdom and technology and knowledge, he counted that shit? Oh my god.
Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
He even has to look behind him to count that shit?
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Well, that went well. Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city. And our endless investigations have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duties of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the ethereal sea. With our freedom so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Charlian. Alrighty. Good. Sounds like we might do the first dungeon in the next video. That would be exciting. Break up the little visual novel stuff. But, yeah. Alrighty. My name is Mangg. Gaming Watch has been Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. See you fine folks in the next part.